I'm going to talk to you today about how I play golf, some of the pitfalls I see people, maybe cheap kind of mistakes that they give away when they're on the golf course. You see me play golf a lot in the course vlogs that we do, but we're generally just having a bit of fun in those and not really taking it that seriously. So I'm going to play a few holes. You can come along, follow me around, and I'll talk you through some of the things that are going through my head, some of the things I'm trying to defend against, and some of the things I'm trying to achieve when I'm out here playing. And hopefully you can take away from this some lessons on how you should be thinking, attacking, defending when you're out there on the golf course.
If you like the ideas in any of our coaching videos, this one and other ones with myself and Coach Lockey, and you're interested in the services we offer for golf lessons, what you can do is hit the link down below to our My Golf Gains website where you can inquire. This could be done remotely as well as in person. Follow the links down below and you could be having a lesson from myself or Coach.
It's a great hole to start us here. This is a layup hole, short par 4, but I can't get through. There's a gap up here and I need to be going on the left side of this fairway to get through the gap, because if you get too close to the gap you can't get over with your second shot. So I've got my 22-degree hybrid and I'm aiming up the left. And what I'm going to do when it comes to layup holes, it's very easy to get lazy and maybe not focus enough, just hit it kind of into a massive expanse. So I am picking a tree, a twig on the hedge in the distance, like it's a flag, like I'm approaching a par 3. So I'm really dialing in to an exact position that I want to hit with this hybrid. If I don't have that exacting target, then I get lazy and I find that I get a little bit wild with even these simpler layup holes. It's just fading. Literally, it's about 4 yards left of my exacting flag. Perfect. So I'm 127 middle, but I'm hitting off an uphill slope and to an uphill flag. So I'm going to work in some extra club. I'm going to play about a 135 to 140 yardage. So I'm working my lie and the slope I'm playing into this equation. Often I see amateurs just hitting their club that goes that distance. I've actually opted for my longer version. We'll get up there and see if it's worked. Because at 132 middle, 120 front, I could easily hit a wedge there. But from the uphill lie, if I just hit the ball harder, it tends to just shoot higher and comes down softer, maybe go a little bit shorter. So I'm fighting the slope I'm on, plus the slope I'm playing into. Reading that situation is so important. So I'm looking for my pitch mark. I want to know how these balls are reacting on the green, certainly early on. I'm taking note of little things like that. I'm happy with the clubbing on this one. So again, if I get this kind of gradient of slope, I'm going to apply the same rules. Oh yes. So 3, very much under my expected score. So par 5, it's playing slightly downwind if anything today. It does play uphill, so it probably plays around 500 yards, so I can definitely get this hole in 2. Now I have a perceived score that I want to shoot on each hole, which will vary from day to day, subject to weather and conditions, maybe even how I'm playing. But like the last hole is pretty much a 4 average for me, I would say, so making a 3 there feels like a real win. This hole, I want to get it to a 4.5 average, so birdie it sometimes with pars with the odd bogeys, but more birdies to bring that score down. The number that you have on each hole doesn't have to be an exact par number. If it is, you're going to find you're upset quite a lot of the time. But having those expectations before you go into each hole will help you plan around them a little better. So I can lose this off to the right. On this hole, I'm aiming left-hand trap, and if anything, this ball will just move off to the right. So I've pushed it, because I've aimed up the left side, it's actually going to be perfect. If I aim that ball where that one is finishing, I would be in the right hand rubbish. So I'm always working in my patterns. So this is a great example, you can see how close I am to the trouble and out of bounds here, of my aiming variance working in my advantage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 yards pretty much from my perfect drive. So start it on this bunker and move it off. So I've pushed my drive, but I'm aiming 15 yards up the left. knowing that my variance with the driver I'm using at the moment is the sneak off to the right. Playing those patterns is so key for you lowering scores. It's something I'm always and have always done. .156 middle, 9 iron. Long putting is something that I've always practiced through my life and enjoyed doing it, because if I can't do it, I'm going to have a lot of long putts. For the distance I hit the ball on par fours, I'm going to struggle to score. Getting more amateurs to practice long putting is something that would help them improve their scores immensely. Next time you're out on the course and you've got a bit of spare time, no one behind you, just hit a series of long putts on each hole you play. Get the feel for distance with slope. Get that long putting dialed in. You've got huge gains to be had. For most golfers, it's simply that they just don't practice it enough. Just spending that time, few long putts each time you play when you're not in a competition, could transform the shots you're saving on the green. Something that I've always concerned myself with when I'm practicing. On 25 middle, which is near the pin, 106 front. I play about 110 yardage, which is accounting for the slope and the runaway of the green. Yeah, should be good. Approach play, I'm always trying to have very clear focuses of what's going to happen to that ball when it lands. If I'm landing on down slopes, left to right slopes, do I want to try and get to the right of the pin, left of the pin? I'm always trying to hit the ball as close as I can to the hole, because I haven't got a tight enough variance to maybe get it short or long uphill and downhill putts. But I am trying to work in breaks of greens and slopes into my approaches. This green slopes back or front to back. So I'm on a downhill slope. Attacking this pin to that yardage is often only going to throw me on far too far. So I'm working in those slopes always. So I'm almost reading them like I'm trying to read this putt. Working in the breaks to try and get as close as I can. Not close enough. Maybe a bit more long putting practice needed for me too. Oh, go away with it. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Get up, ball. Get up. I think for me it's the clearness of the strategy as you get through the handicaps and down in the handicaps that becomes so clear, even to little things like this. I'm trying to fade my driver. I've got out of bounds down the right, I've got a fade bias driver. I'm going to be aiming basically at the left hand trees and moving it off, and I'm teeing up on the right side of the tee here. It just gives me that feel, imagination for me to pull off what I'm already imagining. It's the planning, it's the seeing of spots, it's trying to execute the spots. So I'm aiming again like that layup hole at a precise tree at the end. I'm trying to just move the ball off. Which I've done, I've slightly overturned it. But we should be okay there. It's the constant damage limitation as well, which is something I don't see amateurs do enough. Bearing in mind they have more damage. I find I'm always trying to really know where the problem is. It doesn't mean I don't hit it in the trouble, we all do, but I'm trying to limit the amount I hit the ball in the trouble so much. We got the road here on the right. You know, I'm aiming up the left side. I am not taking this fairway on. And like, this is almost as far right as I could hit this drive, and I've still got 100 yards to the pin, absolutely fine. I think being aware of where your real trouble is and limiting those problems, because it's the double bogeys and the bogeys that define the higher handicappers generally. It sounds so basic, but getting good at not hitting the ball in trouble, doing everything you can to make sure you're limiting the trouble and the damage is key. Thanks for joining me on these very pleasant few holes. I hope there's something that you can take away than what I'm doing. And it's not even that what I'm doing is right, it's trying to make what I'm doing as useful as possible. Because again, we're all going to make mistakes, and plenty of them. Golf's so much about limiting the disasters than it is reveling in the birdies. Pars and bogeys, get those doubles off the card.